always tell people it's so important to schedule sex or to plan for sex.
But it's not sexy.
That
isn't sexy.
That's not sexy, but it's sexier than the alternative. And
Yes.
the alternative is one partner wants it on every night. Tuesday, we have Tuesday. Then you rejected them on Tuesday. Can we have it Wednesday? You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. On today's episode, I sit down with a legend. Volleyball pro and podcast host Gabby Reece gets into all the details on her sex rules to keep her man happy, how she can play farmer or flower in her marriage. You're really going to like this little analysis here and probably find yourself in that equation. And she shares what her biggest turn on is. So stay tuned. Please rate and review Sex with Emily wherever you listen to the show. It's so easy to rate the podcast. You can do it right now. It takes 2 seconds and it helps get the show out to more people. We appreciate you when you do that and we read all your reviews. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the places. It's all at Sex with Emily. All right, everyone, enjoy this episode. I'm so excited for today's episode. We've been really wanting volleyball pro Gabby Reece on the show. She's hosted the podcast, The Gabby Reece Show. We've been wanting her on, and here the day has come. This is a woman who is a role model to so many people. She's not only a pro athlete, but a mom, wife to surf star Laird Hamilton, and an entrepreneur who owns and helps run Laird Superfoods and XPT. But above all else, she embodies the aloha spirit in everything she does, sprinkling her desire to make a healthy lifestyle accessible to all. I've been deep diving into the whole robust world of Gabby Reece. And I feel like there are a lot of parallels for us as women who have pivoted a lot in our careers. We're entrepreneurs. And I have so many questions for you. But first, I was listening to your podcast and you talked about bringing more play into your life. And I'm trying to do the same thing. So trying to bring more play and more pleasure into my life. And so I was just wondering how that's been going for you.
I think because I even just brought awareness to this, the spirit in which I've been doing things is also, for me, the way I do it, a little bit lighter, a little more playful. And I admit I've done better and not in certain ways. But like, for example, my family, they love to play pickleball. And usually they have enough without me. But instead, now I've inserted myself just to do it and it could be sort of at a time I should be at my desk in my mind. So I have been a little bit better about taking that time out. And then it's so funny. My husband's very good at play. I'll give you an example. He said, well, you want to sit outside with me to eat the food? And it was like 1:00. I can get a lot done at 1:00. And I was sitting outside and I go, oh, it's so nice out here. Like the birds are chirping. And he just kind of looks at me like, duh, And even going to play pickleball for an hour. What's an hour?
I know. Why is it so hard though to take time? Right?
Well, it's for a few reasons. It's one, I'm hiding in my work. I hide in lists and checklists and being productive because unstructured play is maybe something that, it's an element of false control. Mm-hmm. When we play, we just are. And I, like everyone, even though I've taken very deep looks at myself, sometimes it's easier just to be in the structure and it's an escape. It's a form of like, I don't do it in alcohol. I do it in training and in the schedule.
Right. So what is the hiding then? You think hiding from
quiet,
being free,
from
maybe,
deep thoughts,
yeah,
from whatever occurs to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because simultaneously I have a everyday unstructured check-in with myself. It just will happen throughout the day, whether it's in the shower or just in a quiet drive. I will sort of really check in and go, how are things going? How do I feel? How are my relationship? I have an ability to look at myself, but there's something about just being that I think I avoid often, like everyone. And so for me, the being comes in the play.
And yeah, that totally makes sense. It's like we have so much in our lives. And I think this is similar to what you're saying and how I feel. It's like we do all these things, productivity, you've got to get things done. We have the checklist. And then I always thought, well, maybe after I get it all done, then I can play. Then I deserve the pleasure. But what I realized is I try to reverse engineer it because I realize like when I have more pleasure, when I do think more things for myself, I actually do feel better. But it still is a struggle in the same way where I have all these friends who like want to go for walks in the middle of the day or get lunch. I'm like, I don't do that. Like, it's hard to get away, but then whenever I do it, I'm so grateful that I did. So it's the whole mentality of, I know intellectually that when I do play or I take those breaks, I come back so energized and feel so much better. But I think in my work too, I've always been a little bit of a workaholic, working a lot. And so I'm trying to
Well, and maybe it's both, right? It's honoring, and this is harsh. Who's asking you to go on the walk? Meaning sometimes it's like, it's going to serve me better to be at work.
Right, depending on the person.
Yeah. And so there's a part where you do live your life long enough to go, I'm going to give up that time for relationships that have a sacredness, or, there's, we feed one another.
Yeah.
And granted, like if somebody calls you and they're going through it, you just say, yeah.
Yeah. You say yes to your good girlfriends.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten to the point where I don't have a lot of those, the should friends anymore.
Yeah.
Like I had a party a few years ago and I was like, I don't want any shoulds here. Like anyone like I should invite. So I really think it also, as I've gotten older, this is one thing, like I can't take drama or people that are not consistent, or that, you leave them, you feel like a great check for people is, do you see somebody and you feel drained? Have they drained the life out of you? Or do you feel like your energy is restored? And so those are the only people I think that would ask me for a walk these days.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
The other part is for me too, is I like to wrap my day up as early as I can. So I can either do the things I want or be with my family. So some of it is I'm powering through to sort of say, hey, could I open up the end of my day when their days are ending and be with them?
Nice.
So there's part of that too. I have friends that will call me like lunch on a Wednesday. And I'm like, who has lunch on a Wednesday?
Exactly. Who's lunch ever? I get it.
But they might be smarter than me.
This is that's why I'm asking. I'm trying to figure out. But the days, so now I'm trying to do like morning walks or morning whatever, because then I want to see people, because then I don't leave my house because I work at home. Do you work at home too, right?
I do, yeah.
So then I'm like, I haven't left my house. I haven't driven my car. So I'm trying to get out. But it sounds like you're aware of it. But it was interesting. Yeah. So even in your relationship, I have questions about that too. So you've been with Laird, your husband, professional surfer, Laird Hamilton, if people know Laird and Gabby, for almost 30 years.
Yeah, we've been together at the end of this year, 28 years.
28 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing in itself. And so I'm wondering, 28 years together, and I know my audience would love to hear this too. If you had to think of just maybe 3 or whatever comes to mind, like actionable tips that you think have really worked for you guys to make it strong. Do you have practices? Do you have ways that you relate that are your go-to things that have helped you?
I'll preface this by saying, there's sort of things that are out of your control. Like the fact that I met Laird at 25 years old and was uncontrollably drawn to him like a magnet, and everything on paper was not good. We didn't live in the same place. Laird was not in a great marriage. He had a 4-month-old daughter. My oldest daughter was 4 months old. There was a lot of things, and I'm a pretty practical person it's like, no go. There was an internal draw to Laird that, it's good. Is it good luck? Is it kismet? I don't know. So there's a lot of that part that I would say I'm not smart enough to have chosen that dynamic. I was drawn to Laird and I felt that same thing from Laird, and I really deeply trusted that. So in the choice, in the pick, we were really fortunate. So let's just start there. I'm not that smart. Okay. Then I picked somebody who, Laird and I have the similar values, but very different ways of going about living.
Okay.
So within that is some balancing that has really helped both of us.
Okay.
The other system that's in place that really was initiated by Laird and now shows up as really valuable is, I call it clear the decks. Laird's not a guy to let things go, under the carpet.
Okay.
Every day. A look, a word, a tone of voice, he's on it right away. Like, what is that? What's up with that?
Oh, he's like reading your expressions, like the way you said that or the way you're doing things.
We clear the decks every day. So you don't have years or weeks or months of things stacking up where all of a sudden you find yourself at this location and you don't know how you got there, but you don't know how to find your way back. So I give him a lot of credit for, he's confrontational, and it taught me to be confrontational. I wasn't. I take the stoic route, which can get you into a lot of trouble in a relationship. It did. We were almost divorced in 2000. I had 5 years of being stoic, of being with Laird. And then one day I was like, I'm out. Because I had built up
Right. Over all the years, you had to be tough for everything you've gone through. Maybe your upbringing.
Yeah. Well, it just what seemed, coming from sports or whatever my thing was, that was my go-to. And I still believe in a lot of stoicism and a stoic philosophy, but within relationships, saying how you feel, being vulnerable, asking for what you want and need. It's so uncomfortable. You talk about this probably all of the time, especially when you talk about sex. What I want is, why is that so hard? Even like a little to the left or a little faster. It's like, so all of that is like, oh, it's so uncomfortable.
There's so much shame in it. We just are, it's so fraught with confusion and stress and anxiety. Yeah. I mean, mostly if I had to say after 20 years, like I would say mostly I'm a communication. I help people communicate what they want in bed. But it always starts with, I don't even know what I want. And then then you get to the path of figuring out what you want and then learning to ask for it.
Yeah.
What if I'm rejected? What if I'm judged? What if I'm,
Well, and it's vulnerability too. And Laird, the thing about Laird is very courageous and his willingness to be vulnerable. So when we almost were divorced, I will say the other thing is I vowed to be different, even if it was super uncomfortable. And it was not a sex thing. It was a vulnerability, but it goes, that thread goes throughout. So it was willing to just put it on the table.
Okay. So the stoicism, you would define that just as being less communicative, more shut down, more.
Well, and also like, I'm not going to let that bother me. And so, that's great. There's a time for that. And then there's a time not for that because it's a buildup. So I would say a pick, I would say there's a pretty clear communication in my house. There is a natural attraction. I think Laird and I are drawn to one another. I think I've likened it to this. I've gone places, let's say I'm at a grocery store or something, and I unexpectedly, Laird runs an errand and he's there and I don't know I'm going to see him. And when I come around the corner and I see him, I'm so happy to see him. Like I see him and I go, oh. So I think we have this, and
who's that handsome? Oh, it's my husband.
I'm like, oh, there he is,
I love that.
So I think we are fortunate that we have that pretty natural chemistry.
Yeah.
We have chemistry.
That's not.
And it's as human beings, it's not just a physical chemistry. It's just like, oh, that person. And I have friends like that. I have girlfriends where I have just chemistry.
Yeah. You just love them.
Yeah.
Seeing them, it's the best. I know.
So I have that.
It doesn't happen that. It happens with some friends, I think, and some lovers, but not with everybody. So that's why when you have it, you're like, this is it.
And when it can go beyond the initial 6 months, 18 months of chemical attraction, but it's genuine, deep chemistry that's probably built in love and respect, because Laird has shown up a lot. And so for me, maybe that's built upon the chemistry. So we have that. And then finally, I would just say maybe independently of one another, each of us is making ourselves happy. I don't know that Laird is looking to me and saying like, you need to make me happy. And I certainly am not expecting that of Laird. And so maybe that joint belief and then bringing that in to the relationship helps you endure certain times. And also, for example, maybe Laird is crushing it in work and it's more quiet for me, like when our children were young. You can go through those things and you're not competitors. You're each other's cheerleaders because you go, hey, listen, it's on me to navigate, my own kind of sort of wants and needs and dreams and things that turn me on and excite me. It's not on you. And actually, I'll add one more. I do believe both of us is there with the attitude of making the other person's life easier and better.
I mean, that's just what a great attitude to have, to be like, how can I really help elevate you? I mean, the other thing, just to circle back one of your points, which I just love, is it sounds like you had this very direct way, the two of you together, but direct way of not letting things sit, because resentments, the opposite of that is resentments and unspoken expectations are the biggest killers of people's relationships and sex lives and all of it. So I love that he just looks at you or sees your look and he's like, what does that mean? So that's just such a great thing to learn from. But this also leads me to my next question. You referred to your roles in your relationship as sometimes you're the flower and he's the farmer and vice versa. Like, tell us what that means. It's not a sexual thing, right?
No.
No, but I heard you talk about this.
No, I think it's really, and we have weirder jobs. But like sometimes we go to events and they're all about Laird. And so I'm the farmer and he's the flower. Or maybe the docket of work, he's got momentum and I'm there to support and do details and say, okay, here's 3:00 and, here's ideas. And then sometimes, hey, it's like I'm shooting or I have things and he's like, yeah, I'll pick up a kid or I'll see you at home or, whatever that is. And he takes the role of the farmer. So it's allowing each person the space sometimes and when I say just to be the flower, that has its own set of things that are challenging, but to make them feel good about being the flower. I think what would be tricky for certain dynamics is when you never get to be the flower.
Exactly. So it's always about you. I've heard that in relationships.
And a person maybe that person, the flower, is bringing home all the money and doing all the thing, but then you go to parties together and people don't include the farmer because I'm not going to assume it's a husband or a wife. In the conversation, it always is about the flower and people want to get to the flower. And so I could see where that puts a stress on a relationship because if you're sensitive to your partner, all of a sudden are you okay? So now you have this moment that you get to be the flower, but it also is putting a pressure on you because you're well aware about your partner and people don't maybe pay them the respect or energy that they deserve. And so I could see where that gets uncomfortable.
Right. Especially if it's not spoken agreement. So it could be a resentment. Like you're always the flower, but it sounds like you guys have figured out the way to navigate that. So
and it's also like if I want something, then that's on me to figure out then why isn't it the way I want it? And what am I willing to work at to do? But the other part of that is I wouldn't do anything at the cost of my family. And actually, at least in a certain way, my relationship, those really showed up to me very early in my life to be important. My relationship first, because that's sort of this foundation for the house. Well, actually, technically me first. Let's not play games. It's me first. I train in the morning. I'm a brute about taking care of myself. And then it's my relationship and then my children. And I've always approached it that way. And of course, the kids are first because they're kids. But certainly it's this attitude of tending to the gardens, the me garden, the us garden, and then the kids. Because the kids will get attention and energy no matter what.
They're going to. But you're saying like you do the things that you need to do to be the best supporter, mother, wife, all the things.
And it felt more important for me personally, and everybody's so different, and I totally honor that. But I thought in my life, I thought, oh no, this chance at this relationship and this time with these kids, I don't know that being a little more successful is going to be more important for me. Now, having said that, there's other people where, hey, it's like, I get this chance to be the CEO and this is my window and I got to do it. I totally get it. I think I have a little more freedom and I have a weird career. And I just knew more wasn't going to make me feel better.
Well, it's funny because most people, at the end of the day, the people who are striving, usually more isn't going to make us better anyway. You know what I'm saying? We think it is. We always need more money, more things, more careers, more climb the ladder. But at the end of the day, it's about love, family, connection.
At least for me. And again, I know a lot of people who've done it a lot of ways, but I had already been a professional athlete for several years before I met Laird. And had some, whatever. A lot of attention.
No, I remember reading in high school, reading magazines, seeing. I can remember this so clear, and I couldn't remember the name of them. What was them? Was it Teen magazine? It's not around anymore.
Oh my gosh!
I remember seeing you. I used to get a subscription. I'd go to my dad's house because parents were separated. I'd go there, and this subscription to the magazine was there every week. And I just remember you were on every magazine cover. For so many years. We're talking 90s, right?
Yeah, it's just a chessboard, right? You do those things because they give you attention, which gives you more options and opportunity. And I knew that very young, but I also knew it was totally silly.
Yeah. And also, you were also just not just beautiful, but also an athlete.
I mean, I played at college and then at Nike, I got a shoe. And so it's called good timing, but you realize too, it's not sustainable. It's not forever. It's a little bit of like, hey, thank the gods. It's good fortune, good timing. Yeah, you got to work hard, but it is all those other things. And so maybe the relationships felt like the thing. That's why I love sports. There's a realness to that. There's a work to that. There's a layering to that you only get by doing it. And so I had a sense of that pretty early, and that always felt really important.
Yeah, but I feel like, that's good that you knew pretty early on that you didn't get caught up in it in a way that could have been detrimental. Because talking to you, it's like you have this wisdom. It seems like you've always had this with you, just sort of this knowing of like, or a presence, like this is happening now, but this is who I am and we'll see where things go. Or, I don't know.
And I parent my daughters differently, meaning because they come from a home that we're together and there's sort of some kind of, not monotony, but you can kind of, they'll get up in the morning and probably count that Laird and I are going to be sitting at the counter having a coffee together. So there's some pretty deep rooting. And so my hope for them, and I always say, is become a full and whole independent person. Do your thing, do what you want, strive for what you want, be independent, no matter what. And if you enter into a marriage, guess what? Be independent. Because even though I'm here to serve my family and my husband, because it feels good and I enjoy it and he seems to be doing the same, if Laird decided to leave tomorrow, I'm going to be super sad, but I'm not going to have my whole life fall apart. And that was something that I strive for them. So within this service is a real clarity of like, be there because you want to be there. My only reason for being there is because I want to be there. And even though I have 3 children and a whole thing and all the stuff, every morning when I wake up, it's because I want to be there. Within it, I also want to be clear. I think you have to be a little harsh and hardcore about that because it isn't easy and it does take a lot of work. And so when you wake up, it's like, hey, and I want Laird to go like, yeah, that door's always open. I'm here because I want to be here.
It sounds like he wants to be there too. These are the kind of conversations you have.
Yeah, well, I think it's understood between us. I think both of us bring that. And so I just like to make sure in the messaging, because girls aren't taught that kind of harshness. And it seems unloving, but it's not. I actually think it's the most loving. Because then I can love with no strings and no conditions and not I'll do this and you'll do that. It's like, hey, I'm here to love you and we'll see what you do.
So you saying that the message to the kids is that like a lot of young women are raised like find a man, find a person, get married, do the thing. And you're like, still have yourself.
Yeah. And do all those things if you want.
If you want.
But make sure you have a sense of yourself and what you want and what you want your life to be about and what you want it to look like and what you think is going to turn you on and excite you, because it's going to be work no matter what it is, whether you're single and a boss lady or a kid and family or whatever. And by the way, I think probably the hardest is to choose or have this conversation between a partner that you'll stay home and be with the kids. Those are the people that, hey, they actually have the hardest route. But whatever that is, and do that. Honor yourself because it's your one life. And if it involves a partner and a partnership and children and or whatever it involves, just make it sure that it reflects you.
I think that's such great advice because so many of us struggle with women that when you are a mom or when you're, and even if you're just working hard, all the things that we don't think that we deserve to take that time, or it's seen as selfish, or we have to always be producing and going. But I love, even with being an entrepreneur, having a wildly successful company and a podcast and 3 children, you still are like, no, but this is who I am. I'm taking time for myself. And that is such a great example to everyone around you that you haven't wavered from that. Right? A lot of people
no. And if anything, I think the process of having a family in certain ways, it's not necessary, but it makes you become a different and sort of more extreme version of who you really are, because it will beat your ass in a way that, only maybe a job that's an 18-hour-a-day job, or women who are single moms, it will press you in a way that you get to know who you are. So I think it's so valuable, and people should support each other then support her. Who is she? Because she's showing up and she's working hard and she's getting squeezed. So also give her the other side of that, which is she has the room to really show up and be who she fully is. I don't think none of the paths are easy.
No, none of them are easy.
No.
It's true. But it's like you were saying, so when you get up in the morning, going back to that,
yeah,
you wake up. Like, is this your wellness self-care routine? Are you a same thing kind of routine every day?
I wake up and Laird always gets up before me, and he makes my coffee in the morning. So when he hears me, no, upstairs, he hits the button, and in my coffee is full of a bunch of ingredients. And then I come down and I just sit with him. Just he and I, 2 people, 2 human beings. I read it. I saw something. I talked we have a laugh, whatever, maybe just talk about life. We're not anyone's parents. It's not those roles, because those roles get cumbersome.
And there's always stuff to talk about if you're talking about the kids, but to have that moment of just connecting the 2 of you is so special every morning.
And maybe philosophy, like talk about life, talk about something you're seeing or experiencing. And And then kids come and then I train. If I don't have it, if I can always do it, I defend my window from 7:45 a.m. to 10, period. And it could be a kid gets dropped off at school or what have you, of course. But that window, because I will get my training done, I will get it done. And then, okay, let's launch into the day.
I'll be right back after a quick break for our sponsors. So just stick around. You have your own training program that you've developed, and it's pretty intense and rigorous, which I understand. I do that. I have an intense routine too. I just think even the older I get, like I need it. Like I tell my team, I can't show up for work. I can't really do anything unless I've worked out in the morning. My brain has to, my brain's just, it hasn't started working yet if I don't work out. Is there anything that you'd like to share that you've learned about that or that you do that would be?
Well, I just want to remind, especially females, you won't get too big if you bang iron. If you want your skin to look good and your hair to look good, lift weights. And time under tension is so important. And it may seem silly, and if it seems intimidating or weird, just get someone to teach you. And you only do it 3 days a week, but do that. And that will actually serve your overall real health. I'm not talking about I'm skinny. Your overall real health, the real stuff, more so than cardio. Cardio is important, but I would just encourage them to add it. And it's hard to see the value, and it was easy for me coming through athletics. But I just want to say, starting with young women, if they can get a relationship with it and see the value in it. And then if you're an older woman you didn't grow up with brothers and nobody taught you that, start today. And don't be intimidated, and it's your right to be there. And it's not a section of the gym that only the men go to. Just find the way that it works for you, because I do believe it's important. And the other thing I always think about exercise in itself, I do think it's these moments, because our life is informed by how we look and how old we are and what gender we are and all this stuff. It's just a place to be a playful, sweaty kind of person. And I always say I kind of channel my 15-year-old boy when I go and I train, because I'm there and I'm like in sweats and I can be inappropriate and, I can rabble-rouse with my friends and just be and get it done and sweat and work hard, because it will protect your health, your cognitive health, all your health in all the ways. If you meet somebody, there are women who build muscle faster than others, but it's generally pretty hard to do.
But especially when you get older too, perimenopause, all the things. I know that's when I just started. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm in. I always tried. I was doing other things, but that has been a game changer.
17 years old, you're rolling.
17 magazine. That was the magazine.
There we go. Wow, you're going back.
That was the magazine I got every week.
You're going back.
And you were on it a lot. And I just remember reading articles about you and sitting with the volleyball. Anyway.
So if you don't believe me, like Mary Claire Haver is a lady who had a hard time going in through menopause. She's she was an OBGYN, but the point is she was training to stay skinny. So I'm just saying now what's so great is there's so much information.
Finally, this is the other thing about women's health. We never studied it. I mean, I know Mary Claire very well. We've been speaking on these panels and studying it. It's like, this is like women's health was like the bastard child of the whole wellness.
Well, we weren't in studies until 1993.
No, exactly.
So
clitoris wasn't on the map until 1997.
What?
Yeah, the clitoris was not even on the map till 1997. We didn't even study women until 93. And even till very recently, we were like, women are just small men. So we're just going to treat them that way. We're so different.
Clitoris wasn't around until 97.
97 on the map. Yeah. Well, they didn't, and the doctors didn't. Now I have like 3 of them up on the shelf. Yeah. The doctors didn't study, even none of them did. Gynecologists didn't study menopause, perimenopause. I mean, that's why we're all like trying to catch up right now. But thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God it's all happening. Other question I have for you. So this was years ago. Okay. You shared the 4 rule. You wrote a book, which was your best-selling book, which I love. My foot is too big for the glass slipper. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it now? The book.
I haven't.
You haven't read it years. I know people ask me stuff about 10 years.
I think it's like 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived life since then.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
but that's what I want to ask you. You had 4 rules for keeping your alpha happy. You're alpha male. And you're also alpha female, you were saying. But this was like, respect his masculinity and give him space.
Okay.
Men know what they need to do when you give them space and allow them to step into their power. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Okay.
What else?
Give him food and sex regularly.
I was going to say food and sex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that was 2 of them. Yeah.
Okay. Still.
More.
It's hard. More? It's good. It's just hard.
No, I mean more. It means
Oh.
shows up more than ever as like a universal policy.
Yeah, really true.
Yeah. And women get really upset about it.
They do. Tell me what happens. Because they don't want to have sex because they don't know they're.
Well, and also if it's uncomfortable, like if you're not feeling good, I get it. So I get it. And imagine my thing too, like, oh, you have a kid. So fascinating. I might have talked about this in this book because I had already had all my girls by then. When you're pregnant, especially really deep into pregnancy, yes, they want to have sex with you, but it also feels like they're a little more protective of you. And then the minute the baby comes out, they're sort of looking at you and you're just like, oh my God, you're nursing, your body just went through this whole thing. And women will say, I don't feel like having sex. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. And that's when you sort of say, well, a blowjob or like something. And I know it's almost like, well, I shouldn't have to do something I don't feel like it. And I go, and it's sort of like, I get it. And are we able at all to see it from their side?
Yeah. Something that they might require. And it's going to help them feel more connected to you.
Well, also women don't understand about testosterone. And they should sort of think, well, Byron Katie said to me, when we use the word should, we've left reality. So I sometimes feel that parts of parenting, parts of being in a partnership are almost taking some of your own impulses and feelings, not at your detriment, but sort of looking at the person's side and going, is this reasonable? Is there a workaround? And because if it's reasonable, it's like having a teenager, right? Like they want to be left alone or they want to stay up later because their brains are different. It's like trying really hard to go, okay, I'm not sacrificing myself for them, meaning on my partner's sexual needs, but I'm seeing what they're asking for is actually quite reasonable. How do I fit in what I need and want with how they need and want? How do I get that done? And I've joked, that's why I've said like, lipstick on and like, okay, I'll give you, because I don't really want anyone down there right now because I had a kid and like stuff's happening. But you know what? I can put a push-up bra. I got some milk boobs and like, we can get this done, you know.
Get this done. That is a great attitude because it's also the reverse. Some women are told you can go have sex right away. This is the other stuff we did study. 6 weeks, you're ready to go, or a month. And a lot of women, they are not ready to go.
No.
It's still painful.
And they're not ready for a lot of reasons. This is always why I'm such a bang on about trying to be as healthy as possible because it makes some of this easier. I mean, I'm 54 years old. So, I still have a cycle, but believe me, these hormones, stuff's happening. It's like, okay, what's the workaround? Because it's not their fault. That's the other interesting thing in the day that we live in. Somehow we're all supposed to be the same. We're not. Men physiologically are different than women, contrary to whatever weird popular belief. So it's not their fault. Am I mad at Laird that he is like, yo, I'm into it? Or he didn't have my daughters. Again, contrary to whatever narrative's been going on, as far as I know, biological men can't have children. I did. That's what happened. And if people are weird about that, that's okay. I'm comfortable with that. At this point, I'm not mad at him that I'm the one. Our experiences are different. Also, we don't say that we're mad that men really do the shittiest jobs. Look around. They do the worst jobs in the world. Road work, plumbing, war. It's like, we're like, oh, it's not fair. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But if you look at the whole story, you get a couple guys who get in power and they blow it for everybody. But if you're talking about the general male population, these are good guys who are just trying to do a good job.
Yeah, they got a lot of testosterone and they want a blowjob every now and then. I get it.
And they're trying to, take care of their families and their jobs are hard. I think that's great that you were able to do that. It's just that women, I think that sometimes for women too, it's like, they're still not getting what they need. So they feel like, why am I giving you what you need if I'm not getting what I need? But this goes back to even beyond childbirth, that so many women, going back to what we said earlier, they don't know even what they want because a lot of sex they were having was performative or more for what the man wants. So at the end of the day, they look back at their lives and like, it actually never felt that great to me because I was always just handing it out to them or doing what they wanted. What I'm supposed to or being that pretty object for you.
All the things. And then they don't know. But then we get them there. We try to get them there. Like, and look at your own body. What do you like? Masturbate.
And I think the one provides the other. So the fact that I can be more brutal, more harsh about what I want or I need, allows me actually to be more understanding, and I can see it more from his side, and I can see it from other people's sides, not just Laird's. If I'm in a thing with a friend or somebody, I go, okay, wait a second, let me just try to see it from this side.
Which is a great skill set to be able to see both sides. Most people,
I think it's necessary. Well,
it's
sports helps you to do it, but if you feel pretty good and you have, kind of boundaries, right? Having said that, I'm comfortable. I can slap down my boundaries anytime. So it's easy for me to go, well, let me look at it from your side, because I don't feel threatened that someone's going to take advantage of me. I don't ever feel that way. And if they do, I'm like, Laird's taught me this actually, because he's hyper masculine. And what you realize with hyper strength and masculinity is great love and compassion. That is the truth.
In its right expression. And it sounds like everything I've heard you say about Laird is that he is this hyper masculine alpha male, but he also has such a deep tenderness, sensitivity.
Misogynists are bitches.
Yeah.
They are. That is not masculinity. No. Masculinity is protective and loving and, all these great things. So people, I think we've gotten it confused, and also we've trained it out of men. We've made them feel bad and weird for it. So I think within that, and sports is a female, but learning from Laird, for example, someone will come over, let's say, and we need something that he's not able to fix, and I'll be like, oh, I think they're taking advantage of us, whatever. And he's like, he'll say, oh, that's on them. They'll have to deal with that. So sometimes if I'm in a situation and I'm like, oh, this person is taking advantage of me, okay, that's on you to deal with. I'm okay.
It's a good perspective. Let's take it all in and be like, everyone's out for me, or being the victim, being like, that's on them. Take it back. You guys are good. I can see it. You're helping.
Well, I learned though. I learn a lot, because as women, we need to be given permission sometimes, because we are, be nice and all this stuff we're taught. Yes, good. Be kind.
Right.
We don't need to be nice.
Right. There's such a difference between being kind and being nice. Nice is like you're a people pleaser, and it's actually being a people pleaser is some of the most manipulative thing. I struggle with that, because I like to say I'm a recovering people pleaser, but it still lingers because I don't think you fully recover. But I realized when I learned that it's actually a manipulation to get everyone to like you. You're really not being that genuine in a way.
And I'll add to that.
Yes.
I think we're taught if we're going to be good people, then that's connected to being nice.
Yes.
And that means that then nobody would dislike us. Well, the fact is someone's always going to dislike us.
Yeah.
So how about we show up and we say, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to try to see it from your side. I'm not going to worry about, again, Byron Katie has helped me a lot. What you think of me is none of my business.
I love Byron Katie.
And then just be like, yeah, cool. They don't like me.
That's such great work. I love the Byron. You had her on your show too, but I've heard you mention her a lot.
She's
it
the
was
one.
Life-changing for me too. During the pandemic is when I first got introduced to her work, although I know she's been doing it a long time. And she has the way of like, is it true? The suffering. I had like printouts, like separate in her app, right? Like your negative thoughts. Like anytime you have a negative thought, which I think we all have limiting beliefs, whether we want to look at them or not, and just how you can flip it in an instant, right? Do you still do that? It's so great.
All the time. The 4 questions.
That's what's helping.
Self-inquiry.
Yeah. Self-inquiry.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it true?
Is it true? Can I know
it
to be true? For sure. Who am I when I think those thoughts, and who would I be without that belief? And I think for women, we need to be given permission to be more ferocious so we can be more loving. And ferocious just means, hey, I got to dial into what I need and want, and I'm going to be okay if I don't. Not everyone is my best friend.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's the work, but it's the good work. You're right, especially as you move through life and you just see like it doesn't, how's it been going for you? If you've been people please your whole life, does everyone like you? No. Or like there's enough information now, and then you realize that you're, it allows us to suffer as well. So just it's more and more leaning into our authentic selves.
Yeah. And that would also maybe allow us to stay playful as we get older, because part of why I think we get so heavy and, plus besides hormones and all the other stuff we have to navigate through these changes is like, if we just keep covering that or whatever, we lose. There's nothing better than an older woman who's sort of really dialed it in. She's the coolest, most playful, naughty, fun, great person because somehow she figured out how to navigate it.
I mean, it's there in us. It's just letting go of the other. It's there. Like, it's who I feel like it's, I'm always like, I'm fun. Like, what am I doing here? Working all the time. Like, I actually live. I've got pounds of sex toys around me. I've got like a really joyful life I've created. But then I get so, serious and trying to make it all done. So I love the reminder of it to play. So those were some of the things you said. And then you had allow him space to be tender and honor you as a woman, which I think we've been talking about.
He does that quite a lot.
I love that.
He's way more romantic than me.
Really?
It's like the cuddling and all that. I'm like, oh, who could be bothered? No, Laird's like, oh,
Well, that's sweet.
Yeah, I know.
But you give it to him as much as he wants.
Yeah, and as much as I'm comfortable, I got to get stuff done. Like, okay.
I know.
I mean, if we're going to make time to have sex, it's like, yo, let's also wrap this up.
Do you guys still, I have a question. Do you guys still have your 48-hour rule?
Yeah, pretty much every other day. I mean, some days get blown to the side, but that's pretty much like you start to pay attention. I'll even, this is terrible. Let's say like we're in a certain rhythm and then the week starts to unfold. I will load up the days that I know we are not, like the day after we've been together, because I know I don't have to answer to anyone on that or try to find a window. Like I'll make more meetings, more calls because I'm like, oh, I can stack the hell out of this day.
Because we just had the sex. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, see, what I love about this is that people are like, I always tell people it's so important to schedule sex or to plan for sex.
But it's not sexy.
That isn't sexy. That's not sexy, but it's sexier than the alternative. And the alternative is one partner wants it on every night. Tuesday, we have Tuesday. Then you rejected them on Tuesday. Can we have it Wednesday? You rejected them. How about Thursday? And then if you just know, you know what? Saturday night's our night.
Yeah.
Then you don't feel that throughout the week.
Yeah, because that's a bad dynamic where one person feels like they're begging for it and the other person starts feeling the pressure of it. And it also isn't sexy where, and Laird sometimes will get frustrated. Like, it feels a little scheduled. And I'm like,
Well, no, but then it has to be. Like, in a way, it's not going to happen.
It isn't. And then once you get there.
I've with this all these years. I don't know that I could do that.
I mean, but see,
but it's worked
but
for you
it's
guys.
so straightforward. Yeah. See, for me, it's so simple.
Right.
Where it's like, Laird appreciates it, wants it. It feeds the relationship. I enjoy it once I'm there.
Yeah.
Listen, nobody feels like it before they get there.
So hard to get there. It's kind of like the workout, right? Similar. I always say that sex begets sex. Like the more you have it. But it's even like going to the gym. Like sometimes you're like, the hardest part is getting your shoes on and getting out of the house.
Yep.
So maybe the hardest part about the sex is like, just get naked.
Get there.
And then you're like, we're naked. What else are we going to do?
And by the way, if somebody's listening to very small children, it's harder.
What would you say to that, Gabby? What would you say?
Well, because also, be kind to yourselves. When you have very small children and maybe more than one, so like these people who are like, I have 2 children under 2. It's like, whoa. First of all, be kind to yourself. So that means even in your training, like all of it, be kind to yourself, be kind to your partner. You're in it together, right? Sleep is really important. But I have another friend of mine and we used to call it, it's almost like, and it's not sexy.
What?
But like if you've got 15 minutes, like some kids are so, I used to joke that the only reason we had a nanny is so we could either train or have sex.
Yeah.
I don't need a nanny to like watch my kids. I need it so that I can be alone with my partner. But if you have 15 minutes, just especially if you're the female, because your male partner is sensitive more than you realize to your feelings. So they're not going to press you because they know already all that you're navigating and that you're tired. So if you're the female, make it easier. Be like, yo, we have 15 minutes. Let's sneak away. Initiate it. It doesn't have to be a dance and a thing and an outfit and some BS.
It could be a thing. Or
it just like, and sometimes, and this is, again, it isn't sexy and it's harsh. And maybe it's too utilitarian, but I'll just say it. Sometimes I'm there I want to be with Laird. I want to be with him. But sometimes it's like, I'm doing it for him. I'm not enjoying it, but it's like, hey, I'm not even interested in like getting off or anything. It's like, no, I'm interested in the whole thing. And this is a moment. And maybe the next time I'll be like, yo, okay, there's space.
Intimacy. It's not just about the orgasm and the goal-oriented thing. It's like we are connected. It's okay not to have an orgasm, but you know what he needs. And then sometimes you need it. And that's okay too, as long as you guys are connecting. But I love this. I actually say, I don't think I've heard this. It sounds like it's really worked for you guys all these years. And I've yet to hear couples in a schedule. It's rare to hear couples in a schedule where they've really stuck to it.
Oh yeah, no, I
have.
I
mean, since even having little kids, like, because that is the question.
But people have to really be careful and be kind to themselves when they have young children, because it is so much harder.
It's the hardest time. I mean, I never did it because I knew it would be so hard.
No, just be kinder to yourself. You know what it is? I would say nobody knows how to do it. So just do the best you can, but also don't let it go. Don't never talk about it. Just be like, hey, even if you tell your partner, I'm aware we haven't been together in a while. I'm sensitive. I would like to connect with you. I want you to know I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
I think for a partner, because it's probably usually the guy that's like, does she even care? Does she want it? Like, what's going on? So even if you go, hey, I think it's helpful, but it's a dance. It's not an easy dance. And then it's like, oh, it's not easy because you're older, and it's not easy because you've been together thousands of times.
Yeah, right.
So people just, like, for me, I think there's enough of maybe my personality that's kind of realistic enough and brutish enough that I'm like, hey, it is what it is. What's the end goal? And let me work back towards, because people have all this fantasy. They watch these stupid movies and they go saying, oh, sex and take me, and it's on the thing. It's like, listen, yes. And how do we work back from the goal of, a vibrant relationship, each person getting sort of versions of what they want, not all the time. Okay, what does that look like? How do I do that? And, this idea of like, I'm going to always feel like it, and it's like, okay, well.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time there lately telling people, we have to realize that most of what we heard about sex isn't true. And 99% of couples are going to be struggling with their sex life at some point because they've never talked about it. And we're all holding on to that honeymoon phase when it was amazing in the beginning and you didn't have to talk about it and think about it. But most couples are in the place of, they're trying to figure it out. One person usually wants it more than the other person. That's just how the relationships go. And you got to find a workaround. And looking to porn or television, how they both wanted it at the same time and they were orgasming is so not realistic. So like, I love it. You're like, it's not like, but it's going to take work, but it's the kind of work that like, we see what happens when it doesn't happen. And it's interesting because when I first started, I thought it was mostly the men when I started in this field of work, that it was mostly the men. Men always wanted sex. But I also have seen a lot of women who are like, my partner doesn't want it either. And there's a lot of different reasons too, because resentments build up, people get stressed. And also when we're anxious and stressed, and I found this more with men, but I also think that in many ways, I'm very much in my masculine too a lot. But when we're worried about money or achieving, that can immediately kill sex drive, especially with the man. I've noticed more so than women, even just if they're like they lose their job, they struggle, something happened with anything really financial or their career. It's like they can't get it up.
Yeah, and that's tricky. I do want to say one thing as sort of a middle-aged female, because I feel like it's our responsibility to help usher in new adults coming in. And I do feel a very contentious thing, especially females to males in this overcorrection, which I understand. I totally get it. But what I want to say is that half the best people I know in the world are men. And I think it's so important, whether we like it or not. I think we bring out the best in males through softness and through kindness if you have boundaries. So I believe to get what you really want is for us to also continue, not forego that, to develop that, because I think it makes them better. And what's happening is I feel like we're going at them and they're retreating.
Yes.
And I'm interested, and now I have someone to be with. My interest for people is that as they go through their life, if they choose, if they want to have a partner, that they understand that enough. So, because if you beat someone down, they won't be able to stand for you. And you're ultimately going to want a partner that can stand. And it just seems to be the way it is.
I'm with you. I've been thinking about the same time. We get so angry and we're like saying men are doing all these things and men are awful.
And the
enemy.
Patriarchy. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to throw up. Because men are suffering too.
Men are suffering too.
And so they don't realize. And so I just want to, as somebody a little bit older who wants everybody to win, I want the group below me to win. I want them all to win, whatever that looks like. Partner, no partner, kids, whatever. I don't care. But I just want to bring that up because we need each other.
We really do.
We need each other.
So if women can dig into their feminine and really be supportive and loving, you can also give guidance and you can also support them. But it doesn't have to be from a place of anger and hate. But how could we all work together to help them? Because men were raised in the same environment that we were. It was just a different time.
Yes.
So
and
now they need our support and love and with boundaries though.
And also that's why I encourage women to be fiercely strong and develop yourself, because then that makes that so much easier.
I'm with you. I've got the same thoughts about this. It's a really heady time we're in right now.
Yeah, because who are they going to want to have sex with? I mean, not to be vulgar, but let's just blow it all out the window about relationships. Yeah. Who are you going to want to have sex with?
Right.
Some guy you beat down? No.
Right. Well, then he doesn't. Right. He's not respecting himself. You don't respect him. Then he's not respecting
himself. Then you're going to go on Tinder and get
sexy.
some dude and
that's what we're getting. We're getting the guys is like the dudes or the assholes or somebody you can just see that are doing the best they can. So how do you make them? You can still gently guide people by doing it with kindness and not with this judgment. And that's how we're going to get what you want. Like, I think that's so much about feminism too, like second wave feminism, when it was like, we're going to be like men, we're going to wear the suits and we're going to make as much money as they are. Like that, some of that worked, of course, but some of it was like, just like, we're going to be just as angry. We're going to do it from a male perspective. What if we lead from the feminine with men? And I think that's when all the beauty is going to happen. And because men need us too. You've even said this about wellness. You're like, your wellness can't be a separate bucket from your overall health. Like you got to put it in there. And that's what I feel about sexual health.
But sex is part of your health.
It is part of your health.
Sex
that's what I'm saying.
is
sex
part
is wellness
of your health.
So I'm like,
and that's why I'm very matter of fact about it. Because I'm like, hey, this is, and yes, there's provocative elements and all these things. And again, maybe I'm very straightforward in this department. Like I, for example, have a daughter. She's a young adult. She by nature is much more provocative. And I'm very straight ahead. Like, you know, so I also acknowledge that. So if you're more sensual and a more sexual, I so think that's great. You know, I probably wish I had more of it. I mean, I'm dealing with the cards I'm dealing with, but that has also made the part that it is the dance easier.
Yeah, that's interesting. So your daughter feels like she's more in her femininity?
I could always tell, even when she was a teenager, she's just, has more layers. It's more, you know, it's a softness. I think her dad's more like that. You know, I think my straight aheadness for him sometimes is like, huh, you know, like, but I think he's weighed it all out and realizes that the fantasy of me being, you know,
just
sort of all over and like, you know, super wide open about all things. I think in time he'd be like, huh, well, that's good. But then when we come out of the bedroom, maybe there's other things.
Okay, these are your final quickie questions. This is what we ask all of our guests.
All right.
Really quick, whatever first thing comes to mind. What's your biggest turn on?
Oh, I mean, I know this is bad, but I mean, my husband is
hot,
is fit. And he is like, I feel like I'm always being kind of taken.
Oh, that's hot.
And he has a deep voice. So I think I like feeling like I'm not in charge totally. It's quite nice. But I'm given the wheel to somebody who's quite capable. Mm-hmm. I'm not like, oh, was he, you know.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, biggest turnoff.
I don't like somebody who's mean, who tries to dominate people through like a meanness. Mm-hmm. I like real strength, which is maybe quiet and of service, not, you know, somebody who's like trying to dominate people through false ways. I don't like that. And I don't like unclean. I like a clean
hygiene.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Something you would tell your younger self about sex and relationships.
I think my younger self, and it's hard to learn this as a young woman, and I probably started having sex by the time I was 14 or 15. It is as much about you as it is about their needs. And what I learned at 18 was, and this is harsh, but in a way, like, you have the goods. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you need? What do you want? What's going to excite you? Chances are they're probably going to have fun. So what do you want?
Right. They're going to get off. I would say they're going to get off.
Like, yeah, I don't mean that in a vulgar way. Like, well, probably
what do we actually want?
Chances are they're probably, you know.
What makes good sex?
Oh, that's complicated. That's between two people. Some people it's role playing and foreplay and, you know, snuggling and rough and soft. And I think good sex is when the two people have an understanding and they're there also to be together, but for one another. And because listen, you can have good sex once. Forbidden, taboo, good sex once, big deal. That's no big deal. You know, Lord always says, oh yeah, it's easy to please many women once, try pleasing one woman many times. So I think it's once you get to that place, it's like, oh, like, okay, we're in this together. It's an adventure together.
Yeah, it is. Okay, what's the number one thing you wish everyone knew about sex?
It's really healthy and natural and beautiful. And It doesn't have to be taboo. And just because you might like it a certain way, that's okay too. And then within that same breath, I think we have made way too much of it.
Yes.
Sometimes
and
I'm like,
misinformation about it
hey,
too.
it's just sex. Like, it's sex. Like, come on, like, have it, do it, find it, get it, you know. But also within it, for me, and maybe this is somebody who has 3 daughters, I feel also there's a sacredness to it. That at least where I am in my life right now, and that my hope for my daughters is, yes, have the raw sexuality of all these things, but within it, I believe there is a sacredness that is quite beautiful, and maybe not to abuse it to the point that you couldn't find the sacredness.
All right. Where can people find you? Listen to all the fun things you're
thank
doing,
you.
the podcast and all things.
Thank
So
you.
really, you're so wise. I love listening to you. I really got on the Gabby Show. I was listening to all your things. I'm just such a fan of all you've done and how you continue to evolve and do it so openly and share all wherever you are in your life. It feels like you're always sharing what you're going through in a very real way. And I admire that.
I think we're all going through something really similar. So let's not be afraid of it.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to Sex with Emily. And if you love the show, please like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, share this with a friend or a partner. It might just spark something. It usually does. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It's all at Sex with Emily. Oh, and I've been told I give really good email. So sign up at sexwithemily.com for free guides and articles and more ways to prioritize your pleasure.